dream of flying has fueled our imagination for thousands of years. At the end of the 20th century, we're not only able to fly around the Earth, we're able to explore other planets and other solar systems. Is it possible that other intelligent beings share our dream of exploration and have visited the Earth? These illustrations were drawn from descriptions in a Hindu text of ancient India dated to the 4th century BC. They describe what some scholars believe are giant vimanas, or flying machines. In Yugoslavia, images like these were found on a medieval fresco dated to around the 15th century. Are these the products of an artist's imagination, or are these recordings of actual beings in flight?
The oldest scriptures of mankind, the ancient Egyptian pyramid texts, the Vedic texts of India, and many other ancient texts from all around the world make intriguing references to what sounds like flight, technological flight, not visionary, imaginary journeys in the sky, but journeys in machines. And I don't think it's wise of us to ignore this huge collection of references to flight coming down to us in the oldest texts of mankind. Is it possible that what we're looking at here is a memory of a forgotten episode in human history? Is it possible that ours is not the first civilization to make the slow climb to technological development and to the creation of flying machines? I believe there have been earlier civilizations, at least one great civilization that was destroyed in an enormous cataclysm, the cataclysm that brought the last ice age to an end. And it's highly possible that that civilization had reached a high level of technology. All these texts suggest that it had reached the technological ability to fly.
The search for clues about flying machines of the ancient world takes us to southern Mexico. The ancient city of Palenque is one of the most magnificent of the Mayan culture, which flourished all across Central America for almost 600 years. This is the burial pyramid of Pakal, ruler of the Mayan world around 600 AD. Here, Erich von Daniken has found what he believes are signs that the Mayans may also have encountered visitors from the sky. Pakal's ornate sarcophagus is rendered in exquisite detail. The lid is a beautifully carved image of the dead king. Erich von Daniken believes this relief might show Pakal in some kind of spaceship. He sees that Pakal is seated in the reclined position like an astronaut in a space capsule. His hands seem to be gripping the controls, almost like a pilot. His nose appears to be attached to a breathing apparatus. The design behind the seat could be a representation of flames, as if from some kind of rocket. In the jungles of Tabasco, von Daniken points to what he believes is a clue that ancient astronauts have indeed visited this culture.
During this journey, I showed clues for an extraterrestrial visit in the past. But I have more. 60 years ago, a gigantic engraved stone was found in the jungle of Tabasco in Mexico. Now you see yourself. There is a flying being, to my view, an extraterrestrial, floating down from the sky. His head has a helmet, and with a little imagination, one can even recognize a microphone on his lips. His two arms and hands are looking down, while on the contrary, his legs towards the sky. In this case, I definitely see an astronaut coming down from heaven to teach humanity.
Nazca, Peru. Another great mystery of the ancient world. From the ground, Nazca is an empty, endless desert. But from the air, the secret of Nazca is revealed. The desert is in fact a tapestry of elaborately carved lines and figures stretching for more than 150 kilometers. From the air you can see the famous figures of the spider, the hummingbird, and the monkey. Without the ability to fly, experts don't know how the Nazcans gained the perspective needed to create such elaborate figures on such a huge scale. There's even disagreement about the purpose of these markings. Originally, they were thought to be calendar-related or astronomical guides. No one really knows. But there is more to Nazca than this ancient menagerie.
The real mystery in Nazca are lines, gigantic lines looking like airstrips, and small lines, long, kilometers long.
One of these lines extends 30 kilometers to the horizon. A giant mountaintop has been sheared off, leveled, and then scraped clean to create an impressive avenue. Von Daniken's question is, why? Did the ancient Nazcans need runways for some kind of flying machine?
This is an amazing mystery. Orthodox history has it that the ancients could not fly, that they did not have the technology to fly. And indeed, if the ancients did have the technology to fly, then the whole basis of our history is completely up the creek. And yet the mystery of Nazca is I can see no way that these figures could have been prepared by a people who did not have the ability to get above them and check the perspective. You try and draw a spider in one continuous, unbroken line on an ordinary sheet of paper with a pencil. You'll find you can't do it unless you're an accomplished draftsman. These figures are drawn in unbroken lines on a scale of hundreds of feet by a people who supposedly did not have the ability to get perspective on what they were doing. In my view, the Nazca figures have never been properly explained by scholarship, and it's not good enough just because they can't be explained to ignore the mystery. We need to get to grips with this, to get to grips with two things. First of all, what are they? What are they for? And secondly, how were they done? In Nazca, I detect the fingerprints of the same ancient system of knowledge that we find in other parts of the world, where an endeavor was made to bring the heavens down to earth. I think that the Nazca figures are constellation diagrams. There's a great deal of good evidence which suggests that the Nazca spider is a representation of the constellation of Orion. And this is very intriguing because the three great pyramids of Egypt we now know are a representation of the three stars of Orion's belt. And we also know that in Egypt, this system of ideas was connected to the quest for the immortality of the soul.